believe I have a disagreement, so I got to cut the line, so apologies to everyone behind me. So I'm actually an alumni of the university. I graduated in 2020, everyone's favorite year, where graduations were canceled due to COVID, and we were all under curfew for the George Floyd riots. But I moved to Oklahoma. I did a few years the Air Force pilot training program, and I ended up separating early, though, to pursue the adoption of 5 Afghan refugee boys. And we went through the roller coaster of the immigration process just 3 days ago. We were in court, and court finalized the adoption, and they all received their U.S. citizenship the legal way.
Wow.
Thank you. So, but in regards to the disagreement, kind of circling back to the point of Minnesota and not investing, you brought up the point of migration into the state and the immigration. And I think two of the large populations here are the Somalian population and the Afghan population. And that goes back decades, right, of these people coming to the state and coming to our country. And while the current administration is doing a lot to address illegal immigration, the fact of the matter is, especially in the state of Minnesota, a lot of these people are here legally. They're lawful permanent residents. And there's a lot to be said maybe about, there needs to be a mindset or culture shift within the populations. But I think it's really easy for the Republicans to be pointing their finger at these populations. What would you say is the solution, the boots on the ground solution for our generation to be addressing that problem, given the fact that even if, the ICE enforcements were to go as far as they could, these people were brought here legally. So what is the solution for those people?
The last thing that Charlie said to me when we were speaking, I actually owed him a text, but the last time we were speaking on camera together, the last thing he said was, "Michael, I'll see you in Mogadishu," because of the immense population of Somalis in Minnesota. And he was always quick with a line, he was pretty good. And obviously, we've seen this in recent years. I mean, it's just a tremendous growth in this immigrant population, and it's an immigrant population that does not really assimilate and that is associated with lots of crime and a drain on resources. But some of them came here legally. And the answer is that we have to drastically reduce legal immigration as well as illegal immigration. Not because we don't like the people, not because these are bad people necessarily, some of them are, but because no country can absorb an unlimited number of a foreign population. It's simply not possible. It's no knock on them. It just does not work. And so in the case, you mentioned you've done this very charitable act. Thank you so much. You've done this really charitable act of adopting young boys from a foreign population. If someone comes here at a very, very young age, the odds that they are going to assimilate to the culture, especially being raised in a family from that culture, are pretty good. If someone comes here at age 30 and it's an economic migrant and they don't want to learn the language and they don't want to assimilate and they're going to live in their own ethnic enclaves and commit crime, it's just not going to happen. And so we have to drastically reduce immigration because immigration is not a right for anybody, exactly, and it's not just about ticking up GDP. And America's not just an idea. It's a real country. And real countries have real traditions and have real peoples. And they have real places and geography. And so we have to be able to acknowledge that. And we have to be able to say, look, we're a country that at various times has let in a lot of immigrants. We're also a country at various times that has basically stopped immigration for large swaths of American history. And now I think we're kind of in one of those times.
So what I'm hearing from you is it's very much a go-forward strategy. But coming back to maybe my original question of what's the solution, though, for the current state, Twin Cities, the population is here. Say we don't let anyone else in. They are reproducing at a rate much faster than, maybe with the exception of the Catholics, but much faster than most people in this city. So what is the strategy in order to try to inspire these people to assimilate here, rather than just kind of pointing our finger and saying it's a problem?
Right, well, someone just suggested everyone else needs to have more babies. That's a good suggestion, I agree. But also what you have to do is you have to enforce the law. So the Somalis who are here, for instance, who are committing all sorts of crimes, they need to be arrested and they need to be punished for those crimes. The Somalis who have committed immigration fraud, not naming names, they need to be let go from their places of employment, even if it's the US Congress, and they need to return to their country of origin. And so you can enforce the law in a just way that's not capricious or arbitrary or ex post facto. But one of the big problems is when someone is here legally or they do gain citizenship, there's not really much you can do. And so you do have to look forward, and you have to more seriously weigh the consequences of letting these people in the first place. You could go a long way by simply enforcing the law here and by refusing to accommodate the eccentricities of their culture, forcing them to learn English, making it a requirement that you assimilate in order to access public services and resources. That's one way to do it. You add a lot of pressure, and when you add all of those incentives together, suddenly it turns out people begin to react to them. We can do it. We don't need to throw up our arms. We don't need to say there are too many Somalis or whatever and now the country's over. It's not over. It's a strong country. It's a great country. The bones are there. The muscle is still there. We can do it. We have to want to do it. We have to be committed to doing it. And I think in part we have to do it to honor our friend. Thank you so much for the question.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.